Okay, today we're going to be designing this wrench using SketchUp. So let's get started. You want to go to sketchup.com and go to products and SketchUp free. So this is going to be a web-based application. You want to click on start modeling and probably log in using your Google account. Once you do that, you'll get this page here. You can create a new design, and let's begin by modeling that design. One of the things I like to do at the beginning is to set my units to be decimal inches. So the way that I did that was I went to the hamburger icon, app settings, and then decimal inches. And then I can erase this guy right here. So I guess get the eraser tool like this. And now I have a free space where I have my X, Y, and Z axis. The first thing I want to do to build this is to, work on the handle. And the handle is going to be 2 inches long, about a 1/4 inch high like that. So let's go over here and get our rectangle tool, which is right here on this toolbar. Click here and then drag out an arbitrary distance and release. Now you can see that that's way too big here. So I'm going to type in, now I don't want to click in that cell. I think I'm just going to type in here. So 2 double quotes, which means 2 inches, and then 0.25 inches. Notice I put a comma in between the two, and it resizes it and it looks really tiny. It's way down there. So let's zoom in. And the way we do that is to click on the triple dots down here and click on zoom extents. And there it is. Now, if you want to orbit around here, you can click on this right here and it kind of orbits around. You can use your scroll wheel to zoom in and out, or even you can use these zoom tools here to zoom in and out as well. So that's 2 inches this way and a 1/4 inch that way. Going back to my selection tool. The next thing I want to do is put some circles out on the end to kind of build out where the tool parts of the wrench are going to be. You can see this has a diameter of 0.6. So the radius that we're going to put in there is going to be 0.3 on each of those. So let's go grab a circle right there. You'll notice that it will lock into a position right here. At the midpoint, we pull it out like that. And then down here, you can see that I got 0.4. That's way too big. So I'm going to do 0.3 inches. Looks a lot better. Now, what I can do here is I can use my middle mouse wheel to kind of pull it over like that if you want to. Optional, but you can do that. I still got my circle tool. And if you mess up, just use Control Z to back up. So I don't want the circle right there. I want it to lock to the midpoint, pulling it out there. Way too big, so I'm going to do 0.3, double quotes, and there you go. So the next thing we want to do is put some hexagons on the inside of this. Now we could clean out the lines, which we'll do that in a second, but let's put a couple of hexagons right here. And you can see this distance right here is 0.225 from the center out to there. Let's go over here. I'm going to zoom in a little bit on that one. I'm going to go look for a hexagon like that. I'm going to lock into the midpoint right here, and I'm going to drag it along the handle this way. Now, I only want to go 0.225. So if I do like that, and then I type in 0.225 inches, it's going to look a lot better. Now, the next thing I want to do is figure out how to position this other one so that it kind of overlaps this a little bit. So I got to find a way to get 0.12 away from that right there. I'm not really sure what a good way to do that is. Let me pause the video and see if I can find a clever way to put the center right there. What I think we could do is just make a rectangle right in here that's 0.12 and see if that's a good way to set that up. Let's go make a little rectangle right here like this, and then over to here. Now you can see it down on the lower right-hand side, it says 0.25, and it wasn't quite the 0.2 there. So I'm just going to do 0.25 double quotes, comma, 0.12 double quotes, and that's going to make it better. The reason I did that is now I have my new position here where I can do my hexagon. So going over here, clicking right there, and then just coming out here. And we remember from our diagram a minute ago, that's going to be 0.225. So you can see I went way too big on that, 0.225 inches. And that looks a lot better there. So now what we want to do is just kind of erase everything that we don't want to extrude out into the third dimension. Let me show you what I mean. This over here is the extrude tool right there. If you hover over this, it's only going to extrude that up. And then if you come over here, it's only going to extrude that up right there. So really want to make it so that, I'm going to hit escape there, Control Z. We really want to make it so that we're extruding everything else except for, everything around here like that, except for the holes that are over here. So we could use our eraser tool to clean it up. And so let's do that. So here's our eraser tool way up here. And here's some lines we don't really want anymore. That one and that one and that one. I think there's going to be a line here and there and right there. So now you can kind of see that if I use my extrude tool, it's doing a lot better on that part. So I can extrude it this way or that way. But I got to work on this side. So I'm going to hit escape so it doesn't do that. And then use my eraser tool to trim some of these other entities like so. And I can trim all that out, make these sharp edges off of there, there, there. And what I'm doing is clicking, dragging, releasing. Click, drag, release. And we want all of those little entities out of there. You can zoom way in to try to get this one. Click, drag, release. Looks a lot better like that. So let's extrude that out. I forget what dimensions we want that to be. Let's see if those are in our instructions here. It doesn't really say, I don't think, exactly how thick we want it to be. Maybe it says so in this other video, but let's kind of get a feeling for it. So maybe like a 0.1 inch and see if that's thick enough for us. So there's that. And you can see right there, that's 0.2 inches, 0.22. Let's try 0.1. I guess that's okay. You know what? How about we try 0.15, make it just a little bit thicker. And then let's put our name on there, or maybe SFA engineering or something like that. Okay, so I think another thing that I can do is probably punch this hole out right there. Okay, now I think what we can do is select this back piece right here and hit delete, and that'll make sure that we punch a hole through there. And you can see that I'm, again, orbiting using that tool. This is pan, and this is orbit. So let's see if we can punch our name out into there. Not so sure about that thickness. It might be a little bit much. So maybe when you're doing it, you can go back and just use the 0.1. I guess I could do that now. I could just hit Control Z like this, and then go back over here, 0.1 inch. Looks a little bit better. Then we go back to our punch and then punch that right there. So got to be some lettering in here in the SketchUp tool, and I see it right there. Let's not make it extrude. Let's see if we can just write on the surface. That's going to be really way too tall. 12-inch lettering, those are just too big. So up here we'll do SFASU. You can put your name on there, I suppose, or SFA engineering. And I'm just going to put this to be 0.2, I don't know, 1.5, just to see what it looks like. And we want to fill that in. Maybe make it like open sans and bold so that it kind of looks good on that surface. Oh, it looks pretty good. I'm surprised I got it that close. So there we go like that. And what I can do next, I think, is probably extrude that shape up. So if I hold on to that, that's not it. Oops. I wonder how I would select that part of it. Maybe I need to go over here and say select that. And then maybe I can punch through. It doesn't seem like it's letting me do that. So let me pause the video and see if I can find a better way to do that. Well, I was hoping to maybe find a way to extrude that up or down. It doesn't look like it's doing that very well. So I'm going to hit Control Z. And instead, this time, I'm going to come back, do SFA engineering, and maybe make it just a little bit smaller, 0.4. And I like the open sans bold. But let's extrude it up just a little bit. Now, that's going to be way too tall. If I do that, it's just going to, well, I'll show you what it's going to look like. That's just way too tall for our piece here. We don't want to have lettering that tall, obviously. So let's hit Control Z on that one. Scroll back in. SFA engineering. And I challenge you to find a way to extrude that. So to make the lettering be a hole rather than to be an extrude. So I'm just going to make this like, I don't know, like 0.05 inches. Well, let's see if that raises it up just a little bit to put on the surface. That's not too bad. It might even be just a little bit too tall like that. I wonder if it will let us push and pull on that. So if we get this right here, it does look like we can come in there. That's the scaling tool. And I could make it just a little bit thinner like that right there. Just so that it's not, going to interfere with our fingers as we're positioning this wrench. So maybe 0.33. I don't know. That's just the scale. So it's 33% of it. So I think I did 0.05. We might just do 0.02 or 0.03 to make that. And then that's it. There you go. There is a designed wrench. You can look at these other features. I challenge you to find things like fillets or chamfers to kind of make these edges maybe not so sharp. Or you can find some other things to enhance this part. But let's see what else we can do. Now we would go ahead and save it. And let's see what it's doing here. Okay, it's going to use, I guess we're going to purge all of that right there. There's the SketchUp tool right there. And there's the X disk. Did I just delete my part altogether? Let me pause the video to see if I deleted it. No, I think I just need to type the name down here. So just do wrench. And I can put my initials on there, WDB, and hit save item here. So I wonder if there's another way that I can save this, perhaps to an external source, and maybe pause the video for that part. Okay, I think the next thing we want to do is actually download this. So we're going to go under the hamburger icon and say download. And the file format we want to use is STL. And I can see that it gives it the name wrench-wdb STL. And if we can show that in folder, it's probably going to be in the downloads directory right there. Now, you don't have to do this next part unless you do have Cura on your software. This is the area of our 3D printer, and we're going to print it in this space. So we might show you this part where we're going to go over here to File and Open, going over to your wrench, and then seeing how it gets placed down in here. Now, oh, it's so tiny. So I wonder if I used the wrong scaling on that. Let me see what scaling I was supposed to use. You can see it's right there. Just barely, right? So I think that it thought that I was using millimeters. So I'm just going to use a conversion factor 2540. You can see the wrench is a lot better here. And let's see if I can center this up as well. Probably using the right click or the mouse click here, right clicking to orbit around. And then what I can do is slice it up. And then I think your instructor might do this for you, but I just thought I would show you these things. And what you're going to notice is it's going to start printing from the bottom and then layer it up like this. And then also have your extruded initials or extruded SFA engineering note right there. And we'll be able to monitor the print through the internet as well. All right, I hope that helps get you started. Feel free to rewatch, and remember that Control Z is your friend on this to help you undo. You see this print is only going to take about 13 minutes, so we could stack several of these on at the same time. All right, good luck.